Before we get started, comment below whether you think the death penalty should be legal in the United States.
Whoa. Hi, I'm Ryan.
I'm Dillon.
And welcome to Season 3 of Adaptation Station. We've made it. This is the show where we review books and their movie adaptations. One of us reads the book and then watches the movie. One of us then watches the movie before reading the book. And then we discuss and give you our recommendations for which order gives you the best experience.
Yeah, and today we are talking about A Time to Kill. Kicking off Season 3 with the book by John Grisham and the movie adaptation. I read the book first this time, so let me tell you a little bit about the book. John Grisham, if you don't already know, is an American writer, mostly of legal dramas and legal thrillers. His novels, a lot of his novels have been adapted into movies, including The Firm, The Pelican Brief, Runaway Jury, and A Time to Kill was his first novel, published in 1989, introducing the character that I believe returns in other novels, Jake Brigance, the lawyer. And in the novel, the life of a 10-year-old girl is shattered by two drunken and remorseless young men. The mostly white southern town reacts with shock and horror to this crime. That is until her father, a black man, acquires an assault rifle and takes the law into his own hands to seek revenge. And that is the plot of the novel. Can you tell them about the movie?
Yeah, so the movie adaptation was made in 1996, released in 1996, directed by Joel Schumacher. And it follows the same plot as the book, with not much to the major plot line changed. It stars a lot of people that you would probably recognize. To name some of them: Matthew McConaughey, Sandra Bullock, Samuel L. Jackson, Kevin Spacey, Donald Sutherland, and Kiefer Sutherland.
Father and son.
And Oliver Platt.
Yeah, a star-studded cast for this movie. That's what, for me personally, that's what made me want to do this adaptation, was seeing the cast of the movie. That's what drew me to this one. Of course, I ended up being the one to read it first, and this was my first John Grisham book.
Me as well.
Read.
Yep.
It was for you.
Yeah.
So should we start with talking about the book then? Just because that's the first thing.
Well, yeah, I guess so. It's not the first thing I did.
Yeah.
We
can go back and forth on it. But just, it was our first John Grisham story. Let's say that. For me, I felt a little underwhelmed by the book.
Interesting.
I wasn't that impressed by the style of writing from John Grisham, because I'd heard a lot about him, and I heard, he's a very famous novelist. He has a lot of books out there that get adapted a lot. I hadn't seen any of the movies either based on his books.
Neither have I.
I really liked the plot. I mean, the concept's interesting. I liked the story. I was engaged with it, but I just felt like the book was longer than it needed to be, and the writing style didn't do much for me to draw me into it.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know that I thought much at all about the writing style of it. I was surprised how much I liked this book.
Really? Okay.
I didn't expect to like it because I was like,
even after watching the movie,
legal thriller. Yeah, even after watching the movie, I was kind of like, legal thriller. It could be a little too long. Well, I don't know. Actually, that's not necessarily true. After watching the movie, I was a little more excited about reading it. Actually, watching the movie, one of the things I thought about the movie is like, ooh, this would be a good book. Because I thought there could be a lot more added to it, and there was. I really enjoyed going in depth through like the legal process of everything. Yeah. I really liked that, and it makes sense. I like Michael Crichton is one of my favorite authors, and he goes really in depth to like give details for like science. This is like that, but for law, and I really liked that about it. I don't I didn't have the feeling that it was too long. It is a long book, but I was engaged through the whole thing.
You're doing a good job selling it. I mean, what I was thinking is I'd like to try out and read some of his other novels because there was a lot that I did like about it. But, at the same time, not that just the length alone is bad, but I don't know, maybe the things it focused on or the way I felt like it summarized things more than describing what was happening. Like, most vividly, I feel like the closing argument in the book, it seemed like it summarized.
It's not as good. The actual closing argument in the book is not as good. What is the closing argument in the movie is actually a mixture between the closing argument in the book and what one of the characters, Wanda Womack, in the jury, as they're deliberating, what she says to everyone.
They combined that, and I liked that about the movie because
I did too. That was
I wanted that in the book.
Very powerful part of the movie.
Yeah, in the movie, it turns into Matthew McConaughey's big, dialogue, like a great monologue or whatever. It's a great moment, and I felt like that was missing from the book. Like it's all building up to that moment, and then the closing argument is kind of summarized by Grisham. It's like, well, Jake talked about this happened. And,
that's true. It's not verbatim.
It's like, I want to hear what he said.
I know. I was waiting for that too after watching the movie.
Talk about the legal process. Like, I want to see the things happen, not just summarize it. So that writing style wise was something that that just popped me out of the book. Is that creative writing 101 is like show, don't tell. And it seemed like it was more telling than showing. But I'd like to check out some of his later books and maybe his style changed. So yeah, that was my main problem with the book. And I felt like I liked the movie better. In
general, liking one over the other, I liked the book better than the movie. Interesting in this case. Order-wise, we flip-flopped order. We liked the second one that we did better. I guess, do you want to get into the movie then? Any thoughts you specifically had about the movie?
Yeah, I wanted to talk about the movie because we already talked about how the closing argument was better. Yeah. I like the casting, I already mentioned, but to be more specific, I feel like Matthew McConaughey's version of Jake Brigance was more likable.
I had the exact same note.
Yeah?
Yeah, that except I did the opposite order, right? So my note in the book was Jake in the book is less likable. Yeah.
Yeah, they say he's like the good lawyer, everyone likes him.
But he treats his secretary
poorly.
Just very badly. Yeah. And it's like, well, it seems out of place. It's like, why does he, and it seems like it's just portrayed like it's fine, whatever. Mm-hmm. He treats her bad.
That's what I thought was strange about the novel. They kind of, again, it tells you like he's the good lawyer, but that's only in contrast to other corporate lawyers or whatever. But it doesn't nothing in his actions make him seem like the good guy. Yeah, so for the movie overall, I felt like I liked the characters better. Jake Brigance was more likable. I like Samuel L. Jackson as the father. He gets a good speech in the jail cell to Jake, near the end of the trial. Mm-hmm. Kind of questioning his motive and everything. That kind of inspires his closing argument speech that you get to hear.
Yeah, I actually is a... Samuel L. Jackson role where he's not an over-the-top character. Yeah. Like he is sometimes.
True. Definitely not a stereotypical Samuel L. Jackson. He's like a quiet guy, basically. I like that a specific thing when the house burns down, when the KKK or whatever burned down Jake's house, his dog comes back in the movie. Oh. In the book, his dog dies. Yeah. And I remember in the book thinking it was just strange because... Maybe I missed it, but I didn't even know he had a dog. Maybe they mentioned it earlier. But
I don't really remember.
It just, for some reason, stuck in my mind when it said, they burned down my house and my dog was in there. My dog died. I was like, did they just throw in that he had a dog to make it more sad? Because I don't remember him mentioning that. But then the same thing happens in the movie. The dog's there, but then he comes back later.
Yeah, it is. There's a lot more things that are happier in the movie.
Yeah, I like the visuals of seeing it too, like seeing one of the KKK guys being caught on fire is cool to see. It's a little bit cheesy action movie at some points because specifically the first time the KKK try to put the dynamite, and Matthew McConaughey picks up and throws it in the air. And then it explodes in the air. Yeah, that was just ridiculous. That
Yeah.
didn't happen in the book. But overall, the plot of both I like, because it's the same. There are some good things and bad things about both.
Yeah.
That's pretty much how I feel about it.
I think, actually, I'm blanking on Sandra Bullock's character's name in the book. But
It's like Roark, right? Something like that.
Oh.
Helen Rourke.
Rourke, that's right. Yeah. I was surprised by how long it took for her character to come into the book. She's not in the book until like halfway through or something already.
Yeah.
But in the movie, she's in there from closer to the beginning.
And I like that better because her character makes more sense in the movie. She's like a big part of the plot from the beginning. In the book, it seems like she was a random character thrown in to flirt with Jake.
Yeah, I do like.
it.
I'm remembering now. I do like how she's introduced in the movie because she like comes to the court, right, and has extra information, right. That's how she introduces herself.
Yeah.
And I think it's a good way. I like that, to make her more of a main character.
Yeah, they did good with her character in the movie. So, are you ready to get in how we rated each of these specifically?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, I'll go first because I read first this time, and I read the book and gave it a 5.9. 5.9, almost a 6.
Yeah, I guess that's not that.
That's not horrible. That means it's all right.
Rate it kind of low, but yeah, okay.
And then I watched the movie. I gave that a 7.5.
Okay. I thought you might like the movie better.
Maybe the book kind of pulled it down for me.
So I watched the movie first, and I gave the movie a 7.8.
Okay,
close. I liked it. And then I read the book and gave it an 8.1.
Oh wow!
So
okay, yeah, you did say you liked the book more.
I did like the book
Add
more. Yeah,
details.
so like I was higher on both of these.
Interesting because we're around the same for the movie, but I don't know, something about the book kind of took me out of the story and maybe made me lower my rating of the movie a little bit. All right, so our combined score for the book is a 7.
7 flat.
7.0.
And the combined score for the movie ends up at a 7.65.
Okay.
Which, so even though my book score is higher, yours is lower, it pulls, our movie scores were close together.
Yeah, so
so overall, we liked the movie better than the book.
And starting with how the book is received on Goodreads, those lovely readers over there give it a 4.11 average.
Wow, high. That's even higher than I rated it.
That's an 8.2,
yeah,
basically. So a little bit higher than your score. So we would say the book is overrated.
It seems like it might be rated. You know how we look up Stephen King scores a lot, oftentimes, and those seem pretty high, right? Don't we say that? And Shakespeare too.
Yeah, they're a little inflated because of the fan base.
A big fan base who's going in there.
So Grisham might be someone like that.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, that seems overrated. And the movie has a critic score of 67%.
Okay, so they not really.
But an audience score of 85%.
Okay, all right.
We are in between.
We're right in between.
With the 7.85. So we could say the movie's properly rated.
Yeah, I think so, probably. It's like if you're someone who is probably like we are, a little bit critical about movies, but then also just enjoys watching movies as a regular person.
Yeah.
You're going to be somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
You know?
We should have our own category on Rotten Tomatoes. The Some Brothers score.
Yeah.
It's like an in-between.
Because I think that happens pretty often. We're like in between the two.
Because we enjoy, we're just... I don't know, we're between fans and critics. We're not professional critics. So we like to watch movies for fun, but we're a little more analytical than the average viewer, I guess.
All right. So now we got to give our final recommendations. What one should you do first?
Yeah, I already said I liked the movie more, so I would say watch the movie first. I almost want to say skip the book, but after hearing you say you watched the movie and then you enjoyed the book more, it might be a better experience for you to watch the movie and then read the book, because that didn't work for me. So I will say watch the movie first.
So my recommendation, having watched the movie first, is to watch the movie first.
Okay.
I had a pleasing experience this way. I didn't think the book was spoiled by watching the movie. Maybe it's the fact that the movie is a little more upbeat with more likable characters to draw you into the idea already, and then you just get more details from reading the book. So
that makes sense.
That's
to me.
what I would say.
We agree on that.
We agree on that.
Watch
the movie first on this one.
Okay, so now let's see where the book and the movie land on our long ongoing combined rankings list of all the books and movies we've reviewed.
Yeah, so the first thing we come to is the Time to Kill movie, 7.65, comes in tied for number 12 with the Prestige book.
Okay, that's pretty good. There. 12 out of, what's our total number?
Our total number now is 34
things.
Total things.
Yeah, it's in the upper half. That's good. And where does the book land?
The book lands here down tied in a three-way tie at number 24. With All the Pretty Horses, the movie, and the Drive My Car story by Murakami. Yeah,
kind of lower on the list. I definitely
low. Yeah, it's
pulled
like
that one down.
It's kind of like the movie is almost, not quite, but almost in the upper third, and the book is almost in the lower third.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for tuning in to the first episode of Season 3 of Adaptation Station. Remember, we also have some books that we've written that you can find down in the description box. You can find links to those. And what are we doing next for episode 2?
Next time, episode 2, we're doing the novel by Paul Tremblay, A Cabin at the End of the World.
And that recently got a movie adaptation by the one and only M. Night Shyamalan. He directed Knock at the Cabin, which is an adaptation of that book. So that is what we will be reading and watching next month. So as for A Time to Kill, viewer, you tell me, which is better, the book or the movie?
Let us know in the comments below. Like and subscribe to see what else we got.
Click another video now. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. I don't remember what it is.
It's
like and subscribe.
Wait, it's let us know in the comments below. Subscribe to the channel and tell your friends to tune in too. Click another video now. Thank you.
Yeah. Tell your friends to tune in too. Or what is it?